what was it that did give you reassurance or redirection to say, I want to find a way out? Because I can imagine that's so dark. And anyone who's listening and watching, maybe they have a family member who's in that position, or maybe they have a loved one, or maybe they're in that position themselves and they're listening to us right now. And they're like, but it is so dark. It is so hard. It is such a strong addiction that it always looks easy on the other side from the outside. But the person who's been through it knows what it's taken.
Right.
What was it at that low point, that dark point, that you said, no, I see another side to this?
Life and death. What do I choose? It came down to that. And I knew the truth. I had been lucky enough that I had already been to rehab. I had already understood that this is the disease of addiction. This is an uncurable disease. This is something that I don't graduate from. This is something that I don't go into remission. Like, this will be with me forever. And as a daily reprieve and a daily practice, what am I doing for my recovery? I went back to the origin, the roots of what wrote the music that ended up being the heist that ended up getting all the awards and all the love and all of that. I went back to that place of, okay, where were you when you felt fulfilled? And what did you have? And I had a home group where I went, and I had a service position, and I made coffee for a bunch of other alcoholics and addicts. And on Tuesdays, in order for the meeting to happen, I needed to show up an hour early and put out the chairs in the meeting, and I needed to make the coffee. And the coffee was trash. It was horrible, but I needed to do it. And I had that accountability. I had that sense of community. I didn't feel alone. I felt something that I think all human beings want, which is to feel a part of. And the disease of addiction leads you to isolation, at least for a lot of us. Right before I went to treatment, I would, the only person I would pick up the phone for a call was the drug dealer. The blinds were drawn. I was in a super dark place. Now, granted, after the height of everything, I couldn't hide. I couldn't hide from the world. I had a full calendar. I just wore sunglasses inside and kept going. But I remember my wife and I, and it was after the Grammys, and my wife and I, we went to India. And, I was actually detoxing from drugs during the Grammys. Like, I was like, maybe 3 or 4 days off of opiates, and definitely was not out of my system whatsoever. So that place of fear was very still there. And I never talked about this before. And I remember winning the 4 Grammys, and at the after party, got a pill from somebody again at the after party. And that was the beginning of another attempt to escape everything that was happening. My wife and I went to India, and I really detoxed and realized that I needed to find my community again, that all of this other external pats on the back, all these strangers, all these people that are with you for the moment, but they don't really know me. I need to find the people that really know me, that really love me, and the people that share this commonality of the disease of addiction, because those are the people that speak my same language, that make me feel again a part of and not distant and disconnected.
And why India? What specifically about India? I'm fascinated.
It's my favorite place on earth. There's something about this spiritual undertone. It's not even really an undertone. You can just feel it energetically moving throughout India. We were traveling around from Varanasi to Dharmasala to Delhi, to all over.
Wow.
And no one knew who I was. No one cared. I was back to just being Ben. And there was something so simple about that in that moment. And I think that you travel throughout India and you see extreme poverty in people that are still happy and fulfilled in that. And you realize that to actually be fulfilled and happy in this world, all what we have been taught in the Western world that we need, these benchmarks in terms of success and square footage of a house and what type of car, all of these things do not lead to happiness. And I was reminded of all of that. And I just love this. I just love India.
That's amazing. Was that your first time there, or you?
No, I'd been there before. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. Yeah. Obviously I've spent so much time in India, and that's been such a, I feel the same way as you do about it, in the sense of its spiritual energy that's just emanating constantly.
Yes.
And I find it's even easier to develop spiritual practices there and habits there and things like that.